Okay, we're going to be talking about. You guys ready? We're going to be talking about city driving. Okay? Now, what I'm looking at is what the problem is when people drive in the city. Looking at what the problem is. So, people don't like hitting all the red lights, they don't like all the braking and going, and they sure don't like all the cars around them. They just sit there and they say, I'm hitting all these red lights, I'm braking and going all the time, and I have all these cars around me. I hate city driving. This is what those people do. We'll do that too, but then we go that step further, and what do we think about?
Solutions.
What we want. We think about what we want. So we want green lights. We want to keep moving, and we want space. So they don't like the red lights, we want green lights. They don't like the braking and going, we want to keep moving. And they don't like all the cars around them, so we want space. And then we figure out how to do it. I have already figured this out for you. This is why you guys pay me money. Say it. Widescreen.
Widescreen.
Say one more thing. Say cover when you see red.
Cover when you see red.
That's all you got to remember. So the reason that people are braking and going all the time is because this person here is slowing down to make a right turn. So if you're 2 seconds or 3 or maybe even 4 or 5, when they brake to slow down to make that turn, you're going to have to brake too, thus you have the braking and going. Where if you have 6 seconds, if you have widescreen, when you see their brake lights go on, when you see their turn signal light, you cover your brake. Now you're getting closer, you're getting 5, 4, maybe 3, maybe 2 seconds. He makes his turn, you go right on through. Now we are predicting the worst. We're predicting that this guy here gets to this point right there and he stops. Why? He could be a new driver. Sometimes you guys do that halfway around your turn, you just stop. But more than likely, he's stopping for little Johnny. So when you're rolling up here, getting closer and closer, just kind of be aware as little Johnny's standing there ready to walk across the street. I know this is going to happen to me one of these days. So I see a car here waiting to make a left turn. Right there. And I see this car coming down the road, and I cover my brake. I'm trying to time it so I can make it through here without having to push on my brake. And I'm getting closer and closer. I see this one car here, so I'm thinking, okay, this car will go through, he'll make his turn, and I'll go right on through. And I know one of these days there's going to be a second car there that I don't see, and I'm going to run right into the back of this car. So when I say that we don't have to be braking, we don't have to be stopping, sometimes you do. You do have to brake and stop. So I don't want you running into the back of somebody saying, no, Mr. Burcham says I don't have to brake when I go through the city. If you need to, you need to, guys. Now, making it through the green lights, this is a little bit more difficult to explain. Let me get this up here for you. Okay, this one you're going to have to visualize. This first part you're going to have to visualize this. So do we see the red light? Say yes. Cover your brake. Cover it. So you're holding your foot over the brake pedal. You're rolling. Say it. Rolling. Rolling. Keep saying it. Rolling. Rolling. You can do it till everybody does it. Rolling. Brake, stop. It's still red. Brake, stop. Now, who's going to get better gas mileage? Just rolling up to the red light, or the gamblers racing down the road to it? We are. Next situation. Do you see the red light?
Yes.
Cover your brake. Cover. You're rolling. Say it. Rolling.
Rolling.
Light turns green.
Yes.
No, keep it covered. Keep it covered. This is where you guys goof up. I goof up here too. I'm rolling up to that green light or that red light, it turns green, I give it gas, and then I have to brake because everybody's still stopped. So keep it covered, keep it covered. Now, do you see everybody starting to move?
Yeah.
Okay, gently, say it gently. So we
Gently.
just gently give it gas. Okay. So I'm saying if you follow that pack with 6 seconds and cover when you see red, you can usually make it through all the lights green. You may have to cover when you see red. So here we are. Yeah, let's give you this thought too. So as you're rolling up to that red light, as you're rolling up there, you may be sitting there thinking to yourself, you may be sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to get hit from behind. Or you may be thinking, oh, that guy passing me doesn't like me. You're more likely to get hit from behind after you stop. Where if you can keep moving, you're less likely to get hit from behind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
As far as people not liking you, because they have to pass you, when you're walking faster, when you're walking past people in the hallways of school, you're just trotting past them, do you feel like you're going really slow? No, you feel like you're getting ahead. So these people that are, you're rolling up to the red light, these people racing past you, they're not saying, oh, I don't like you, you're going pokey slow. They're probably saying, hey, thanks a lot, young boy, for letting me get ahead. Now we know they're just going to hit the red light. Why can't they see the red light?
Because they're a gamble.
Magnetism. This is how they drive down the road their whole life. Because we can see and think clearly, we see the lights red. So here you are following this pack of cars, and you see you got a green light, and you see the orange hand flashing. So the orange hand flashing means that your green light's going to turn yellow. If you see the person walking on the crosswalk sign, it means your green light's going to stay green. So here we are following this pack. We see that orange hand flashing. We know this guy's going to make it through. So I wouldn't do what I'm going to tell you if this person could still stop. Orange hand's flashing. He's going to make it through. What I'm telling you to do is to speed up to your speed limit. Because at 55 miles per hour, this is your point of no return. At 25 miles per hour, that is your point of no return. So the law says that if your light turns yellow and you can safely stop, then do so. If you cannot safely stop, they say to go through cautiously. So we're talking about stopping distance, how long it takes you to stop. This is determined by the weight of your vehicle. What else?
Your speed.
Your speed. What else?
Search.
We'll give it to you now. Speed, the weight, if it's wet or dry, the surface of the road. If you're going up or down a hill. If there's a great big semi-truck right behind you, you can't stop fast. So your point of no return would be farther from the white line if there was a semi-truck right behind you. I mean, usually we don't even have people behind us because they all just race up there and pack up into a tight little pack. So, what I'm saying is, you know he's going to make it through, just speed up to your speed limit. When you get to your point of no return, cover your brake and go through cautiously. Now, you're not going to do this downtown Lansing. 12 o'clock noon when all the office workers are out there walking around. But you're not going to do it downtown Lansing anyways, because what's the speed limit in a business area? 25. So I'm talking about maybe on a 55 mile per hour road, you might do this. A 45. I mean, if you're following a pack, there's probably somebody in the pack going the speed limit around there. Get to a point, cover your brake, go through cautiously. Now, I know some of you are going to go home and talk with your parents about what you've learned tonight, okay? And you're going to say, Mom, Dad, Mr. Burcham says if you're following that pack, and you know the guy's going to make it through ahead of you, and you know this guy's going to make it, and you see that orange hand flashing, which means your green light's gonna turn yellow. He says speed up to your speed limit, and then when you get to your point of no return, just cover your brake, go through cautiously. And they're gonna say, what? He's telling you to speed up when a light's gonna turn yellow? I want my money back. Guys, do not do this if this is how you drive down the road. I'm assuming a lot of your parents are in that pack of cars. Because this is how they drive. They can't see and think clearly. We can. I mean, they can't do it anyways because they don't have that space to play around with like we do. But because we can see and think clearly, we know what the hazards are. This guy wants to turn right on a red light. Whoops, he's got a green light. This guy wants to turn right on a red light. This guy wants to turn left at a green light. This guy's waiting for oncoming traffic to clear. They see that pack go through, they see our little widescreen, and they say, well, I better go if I'm going to go, and they pull right out in front of us. It does not matter, because what did we do way back here? Covered our brake. If we needed a brake, we could. Usually, you don't even have to brake. So here we are. We finally hit the red light. I mean, if you get too far from the pack, so I'm saying if you follow with 6 seconds, you can usually make it through all the lights green. If you get too far back, if you start daydreaming, you get 7, 8, 9, 10, you're going to start hitting the red lights. If the pack becomes too large, you get these people racing past you, packing up, the pack becomes too large, you hit the red light. It's not that big of a deal anyways if you hit a red light. I mean, I guess what I'm thinking, people, is I'm looking at why these people are in the pack of cars. They want to make it through green lights. If I said to you, okay, we're going to drive with 6 seconds, but every light you're going to hit it red, I don't think you would do it. So I need to show you how to make it through the green lights and still keep your space. So we finally hit the red light. The light turns green, and what are we thinking? What are we thinking when it turns green?
Go, go.
Not just go, but go, go, go. Did Joe the gambler, that was supposed to be funny, guys, because you got it. Did Joe the gambler wake up in the morning and say to himself, you know, I think I'm going to be risky today and go run through some red lights? No. Joe woke up late for work. He didn't leave 15 minutes early. Joe's driving down the road. The sun is in his eyes. He forgot his sunglasses. Probably driving down the road, one hand on the wheel, eating his breakfast burrito with his other hand. I would say Joe's probably looking at his little buddy saying, "Yum, yum, don't you wish you had a breakfast burrito, little buddy?" Guys, if you want to talk to your little buddy, I'm fine with that. You don't turn your head and look at your little buddy when you're driving down the road. So the last time Joe looked, so here comes Joe. Last time Joe looked, his light was green. So right as you're saying, go, 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 here comes Joe, runs right in the side of your car. You're paralyzed from the waist down. Now they say that when your green light turns green, your light turns green, they say when your light turns green that you should count 1, 2, 3 before you take off. This is so stupid. Here you go. All right, 1, 2, 3, go, go, go. Here comes Joe, 4, 5, 6, runs right in the side of your car. Guys, I'm okay with counting 1, 2, 3, but you need to look for Joe. Now, for some reason, when my green light turns green, when my light turns green, eventually I'll get that. When my light turns green, my eyes look right here at this guy that stopped. I don't know why I'm looking at that person that stopped. Joe's not going to be able to come up from behind him, jump over him, and get us. Joe may hit him from behind, push him into the intersection. And that's another reason why they say to stop behind the white line. So if somebody hits you from behind, you're not going to get thrown into the intersection as far. Joe is coming from this way where there are no cars stopped there. But I think naturally, we just don't look this way because there's no cars there. I'm saying we need to look the way where there are no cars. Now, let's just say there are cars. Let's throw this thought at you. There's cars stopped from both directions. I mean, they say that when your light turns green, you're to look left and right. Do we need to look left and right?
Yeah.
What for?
To see
Nobody's gonna run through the red light this way, huh?
To not see Joe. No, to see Joe.
No, these people are all stopped. They're all stopped. Why would we have to look left and right when we take off?
Pedestrians, people crossing.
I mean, pedestrians, when you're turning, let's throw this talk in here real quick. So when you're turning, guys, that's when little Johnny has a light that says he can walk across. So when your light is green, little Johnny's not gonna walk that way. What are we looking for, left and right? Well, there's a reason,
To be safe.
Yeah.
fine, we'll give it to you.
Habit.
Yes, emergency vehicle flying through, for emergency vehicles. Now in Lansing, let me throw this thought at you. In Lansing, they have these lights up here. Now, I don't know if any other of the big cities have these, but right up here on this wire here, there's a little floodlight. A little floodlight for you. Whoa. Okay. I'm not an artist. They have a little floodlight, a white light that you'll see it flash on, or it might just be on. So if you see that, that's a good clue that there could be an emergency vehicle in the area. So here we are, light turns green, make sure you look the way that there are no cars. Light turns green, we take off. If you speed up, typically if you speed up to your speed limit, you're gonna hit the next light red. So you have to kind of get it up to your speed, you're gonna see the next red light, cover your brake. Now you're the decision maker as to when you cover. Driving's all about decision making. I mean, if you're 2 miles away from that red light, you're not gonna cover your brake. So this is just an idea, get you to think about covering your brake, okay? Let's give you this thought. I had this dad sitting in the class. He was only half listening to me reading a taxidermy book. And the young man comes in the next day and he says, my dad followed that pack with 6 seconds and he hit every light red. And I couldn't quite figure out why he was hitting every light red. I said, well, did everybody else hit it red? He said, yeah, they all hit it red too. And I couldn't quite figure it out. Then I realized what it was. Because Dad was only half listening to me, this is why I need you guys to give me all your attention, everybody. Because Dad was only half listening to me, all Dad heard was, follow the pack with 6 seconds, you can make it through all the lights green. What didn't Dad hear, Claire? What didn't Dad hear? Anybody? Don't worry, nobody else knows what I'm talking about either. What?
Don't speed up to your speed limit.
Dad didn't hear cover when you see red.
I said that.
So,
I did say that.
good job. So here Dad is, following the packs racing down to the red light. And Dad's sitting there, okay, I got my 6 seconds, racing down to the red light too. So if that was us, we would have saw that red light, we would have got, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds, who knows? And then they would all stop, they'd stop for a couple seconds, their light turns green as we're rolling down the road, and they take off and away we go. So yeah, I'm talking about if you're following this pack, and I'm talking about a 5 o'clock traffic pack. You follow that pack, they're all making it through, you should be able to make it through too. This kind of has to go with city driving. Let me throw this at you. I was in Portland. I was driving down a 25-mile-per-hour street coming up to a green light. I get to my point of no return, and I was only going 25, so the point of no return was really close to the white line. I'm driving up to this green light, And I get to my point of no return, I covered my brake, and the light turns yellow. As I go rolling through the light, I looked up and I saw the light turn red. Big deal. I was at my point of no return. I went through cautiously. I get down to the next light, and it's red. That's usually what happens if you just make it through a light. You're going to hit the next light red anyways. So I'm sitting there and waiting for it to turn green, and for some reason I look behind me, and here's this City of Portland police officer walking up to my car. Now usually these cops will get right up behind you. You know that they're behind you. This guy was kind of off, like not straight behind me, kind of off that way, quite a ways back, walking up to my car. I mean, I can just see my light turning green and me sitting there saying, all right, green light, go, 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 as he's walking up to my, not good, guys. Fleeing and eluding. And this elderly lady do some lessons with me. And she was telling me that she was on this bridge in Lansing. She was driving on this bridge, coming home from the hospital. Her husband was in the hospital. And a cop pulled her over, and she thought, well, I don't want to stop on the bridge. So she continued across the bridge, and let's say she pulled into a parking lot. Cop gave this little old lady a ticket for fleeing and eluding. She didn't want to tell her husband, because her husband was sick in the hospital. He would have said, we're disputing that ticket. We're not paying that ticket. So anyway, she just paid the ticket. She got 6 points on her license. I guess my thought on that is if a police officer wants you to stop or not stop on a bridge, he will wait until you get off the bridge before he turns on his lights. As far as pulling into a parking lot, the law says if there's an emergency vehicle behind you, a police officer, with their lights on, you're to pull off the right side of the road and stop. It doesn't say drive to the nearest parking lot to pull in there. I'm thinking, where's that police officer going to feel the safest? In a safe parking lot or on the road when cars are buzzing by him?
Parking lot.
Do I want the police officer to feel safe?
Yeah.
No. No, I want him not to feel safe. I want him to give me a warning and then go on his way. If he wants you to pull into a parking lot, he'll say go ahead and pull into the parking lot. Okay? So anyway, so here I am, stopped here, waiting for the cop to come up to my car, and I put my hands on my steering wheel. I mean, this is not a law. This is just giving them a little respect. They don't know who you are, especially you young boys. They know a lot of you guys do drugs, and they're very cautious. So you might not want to make any fast moves. Just have your hands on the steering wheel. So he comes up to my car and he says, "Can I see your license, your proof of insurance, and your registration form?" I said, "It's in my glove box, so get it now." So probably don't want to be reaching for things real fast, even though it might be kind of fun to quickly pull up your wallet. Don't do it. I'm kidding, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. These cops shoot first now. They get skipped. I would not want to be a police officer, guys. You know, somebody makes a fast move, you got to be thinking, do I wait and see what they have, or do I shoot them? He asked me this question. He says, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I heard this on one of these sporting shows, these outdoor shows. The conservation officer says, "I don't see these people kill the animals illegally, but what I do is I walk into their hunting camp or their fishing camp, and I talk with them. And that's how I get a lot of my convictions." He asked me that question, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" All I'd have to do is say, "I was only going 5 over, officer." You just admitted to going 5 over the speed limit.
I thought that was legal.
No, you can't go 1 over. Of course, we know that somebody, I told you earlier, somebody had said that a police officer told him if you go under 9, you're fine. If you go over 9, you're mine or fined. I mean, you're more likely to get a ticket for going 5 over in a 25 than you are in a 70. Okay? I mean, I might say, well, I was going about 55. I wouldn't be saying, oh, I went 60. He says, why did I pull you over? I said, wasn't that hill back there? They have a steep 25-mile-per-hour hill. I mean, it could have been the hill. I didn't really want to point out the intersection. He says to me, what about the intersection? This is where it comes in handy to know why you do what you do. I just looked at him and I said, I was at my point of no return. I covered my brake and I went through cautiously. He just looked funny at me, and then he walked back to his car to check me out. When he comes back, they like to yell at you. He says, if the light turns yellow and you can stop, then do so. So I just kind of turned around what I said. After he told me that he wasn't going to give me a ticket, I told him something else. I said to him, the other thing I think about when I'm going up to a green light is if that light turns yellow. If that light turns yellow and it feels like I need to keep my foot on the gas to make it through, then I brake and stop. But if that light turns yellow and it feels like I could just cover my brake and roll through cautiously, that's what I do. I said I might have misjudged it a little bit. Afterwards, I'm sitting there thinking, no, I didn't misjudge because I got to my point and I covered. I mean, they probably have some stupid little thing that they say like, well, if the light's red and you're still in the intersection, then you could have safely stopped. No, guys, no. If you would have given me a ticket, I would have set up an informal hearing. I called the number on the back of the ticket, set up an informal hearing. I'd go into the courthouse, not the courtroom, you go into a courthouse, probably into a small room. The cop will be there, the judge will be there. I'd share my side of the story, the cop would share his. Now at that point, let's say the judge agrees with me. The police officer could say, well, I've got enough evidence, I'm taking this to court, and vice versa. If the judge agrees with the police officer, I could then take it to court. That's probably when I'd want to get the traffic attorney. Now, I would have given that judge a good 5-10 minute talk on the safest way to go through an intersection. I would have said, well, you know, I could have gave it a little bit more gas and made it through a little bit sooner, but I thought, no, I'll just go through cautiously. Somebody was telling me that their uncle is a police officer, and he said that if the light turns yellow, he sees people speed up, he pulls them over. So you don't want to be speeding up. So the way to think about this is you're driving up to that green light. If that light turns yellow and it feels like you need to keep your foot on the gas, then brake and stop. If it feels like you could just cover and roll on through, then that's what you do. Now what people do though is they hesitate. They're going up, the light turns yellow, oh no, what do I do? And then they cover their brake and they go through a red light. Or the light turns yellow, they hesitate, oh, what do I do? And then they brake and then they go over the white line. Now we know what most people do. Light turns yellow, they hesitate, oh, what do I do? What do?
Speed up.
They punch on the gas. Okay. Well, I hope you like this. Talk about city driving and make it through green lights. If you like it, like and subscribe. And do what you can every day to reduce traffic fatalities.